Mr. Nannis's statement about the bravery that the good chairman and Senator Shaheen has shown in introducing the bill to repeal the 1099 problem. And however, if we're going to pass out medals, we probably ought to look at the background a little bit. And the first thing we ought to look at is how this got there in the first place. This was buried in a 3,000-page health care bill that was shoved down the throat of the American people on a straight party line vote. Senator Snowe and I and every single one of our Republican colleagues on this side of the Capitol and on the other side of the Capitol voted no against that bill. And that was one of the reasons, one of the many, many reasons that the bill was going to strangle small business in America. Now, if we're also going to examine what size medal a person should get for the bravery, we should look at what happened on September 14th, 2010. On September 14th, 2010, the United States Senate had on the floor the Small Jobs Creation Act. We had an amendment to that bill which specifically repealed the mess they made of the 1099 situation in the health care bill. And guess what happened? It failed. It failed on a 46 to 52 vote. Again, every single Republican voting to put that amendment on this bill, which, by the way, is now law and which would have repealed the 1099 problem. Every single Republican voted for that amendment, and we were joined by some of our colleagues from the other side of the aisle. If the brave people who introduced this bill to repeal this had voted with us on September 14th, 2010, we wouldn't even be here talking about this today. In any event, to add insult to injury, that particular amendment has been put in the form of a bill, and the Republicans yesterday, I'm told, tried to hotline that bill. Now, that's a procedure where you can push this thing through here and get it passed and get it into law. And I'm told my good friends on the other side of the aisle have objected to the use of the hotline. So guess what? The 1099 problem isn't gonna go away. My only point is, if we're going to pass out medals, we ought to maybe adjust the size of the medals everybody's going to get for bravery. We want this done, and we're going to continue. We're going to continue to push this. We're going to try to hang it on every bill that goes through here, and sooner or later, the American people are going to get a hold of their senators and representatives by the throat and say, look, we don't want this. And Mr. Harris, with all due respect, you said you wanted one day. We spent a year shouting from the top of this building that this is what was going to happen if this health care bill passed. So it was more than a day. We spent a year at it, but we couldn't get it done. But I want to promise you this, and I want to commit to you this. We're not done. We're going to continue every day, all day, to try to get this 1099 problem resolved, because as long as I've been in public service, which is almost all my adult life, this issue probably rises as high as any other issue I've ever seen as far as affecting small business and as far as raising the ire of small businessmen. So thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.